We're standing on the B3414 Boreham Road, just on the outskirts of the Wiltshire town of Warminster, which is about 2 miles in that direction. In the mid-60s, the town became famous for unidentified flying objects, UFOs. Skywatchers flocked to the town, and particularly to Cradle Hill, just to the north of Warminster. Today, almost 50 years later, Cradle Hill is still well known and even hosts the occasional skywatch. But a lesser known skywatching site, about 2 miles to the east of Warminster, was very popular in its day, and it was reached by this mile-long track through this gate over here.
Well, we certainly picked a good day we're on, didn't we?
We certainly have. It's a shame some of the nights we spent down here weren't this warm. I remember it being freezing cold half the time.
Yeah.
It used to be possible to drive to Star Hill, but since the mid-70s, this gate has been kept shut to all except MOD vehicles. So access for us now is only on foot.
Yes, I remember driving through here hundreds of times, Ron. No gate, wonderful.
Yeah, it used to be very easy. The place we're heading to, Star Hill, is part of Salisbury Plain, and it's just a couple of field barns by the side of a track. Whilst the location was known by skywatchers as Star Hill, I ought to point out that no such name will be found on official maps, and it's not a hill either. It's actually a shallow valley between Middle and Battlesbury Hills. Well-known local character, Molly Carey, once said that early ufologists, curious about the star signs marking the Bronze Age burial mound on Middle Hill, took to calling the area Star Hill, short for by the hill with a star on it.
Look at this, Ron, it hasn't changed over 40 years, has it? The same road, exactly the same tarmac almost.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Little country lane, middle of nowhere.
Yep.
I remember the first time I drove along this road. I've been told of all sorts of exciting and mysterious UFO activity, so I really couldn't wait to get down here. From this railway bridge, you can see the skywatching site of Cradle Hill. Until the 1990s, the track went all the way to the barns, but from here it has been replaced by a concrete motorway for military purposes. Very attractive. Despite the change, this route is still an official bridleway known as BISH 7. That's Bish, as in nearby Bishopstrow, with members of the public retaining a right of way along it. The size of the concrete road certainly destroys any feeling that this place is in the middle of the countryside.
So, when you first started coming to Warminster, Ron, how often did you come down?
Well, I wasn't one of these people who are here literally every weekend, but I certainly used to get down here quite a bit, particularly in the summer, when it was always pleasant. What about you? Are you
Every weekend I could get down, I was down.
Yeah,
Yep. Didn't watch TV or anything like that.
It was almost like going on holiday, wasn't it?
It was.
Because it was, a lovely weekend or week or whatever out in the countryside. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
Oh, I see there just on the right, it's the intersection with the Imber Range perimeter path.
Right.
That's Scratchbury Hill, Middle Hill, and then Scratchbury Hill on the right. And then it's the left, just round this corner here, is Battlesbury Hill. So there they are, the barns at Star Hill.
Wow, do you know, it's 43 years since I was last on this spot, and nothing's changed except the width of the road. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's certainly changed from the little track that used to run past it.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of guessing that with the width of the road, the apron in front of the barn must have been quite a bit wider then. Or perhaps half of that, at least another 10 feet or something like that.
Yes, I think there was certainly room to turn a car within that space.
Other than that, nothing's changed, has it? No, it's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
I suppose the only difference that has changed, of course, is we're walking instead of driving.
Yes.
Yeah, happy memories, eh? Doesn't it bring back
Absolutely.
wonderful memories?
This is a moment for me. Well, this is it, Ron. This is the spot where we all used to meet up and at night and in the middle of the night even, and park our cars in front of this barn behind us and look up at the sky.
I always remember it was so dark here, wasn't it? There was like literally not a light to be seen anywhere, just starlight. It was
just starlight,
pitch dark.
It was
beautiful.
Pitch black, absolutely.
Looking across the valley there, waiting to see what you could see.
Yep.
It was here that I first met and spoke to Arthur Shuttlewood. He was the local newspaper reporter, and he ended up by writing about 6 books on the Warminster mystery and its ongoings. Did you have any experiences with Arthur Shuttlewood?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, not only at Cradle Hill, but here also. And we met up here quite often, and Arthur took it upon himself to show visitors the site. And on one memorable occasion, I was with a guy who was an astronomer, and we were looking out at Venus, which was over there in the sky, and Arthur suddenly said, it's moving, it's a UFO, and the visitors were very excited. And this chap and I, we lined up the planet with a post on the fence, and it wasn't actually moving. It was an optical illusion, but these people from the city were totally convinced what Arthur was showing them was a UFO.
Yeah, I can understand that, because I think one of the things with Arthur is he wanted people to go away happy.
He did.
So he was quite happy to, I think, perhaps mislead you for the right reasons, perhaps.
Absolutely. I think he was like the Warminster ambassador to UFOs. And as you say, a lot of people went away extremely happy.
And I think a lot of people as well, they come from a city and you experience the darkness here, and if you see Venus in the dark sky for the first time, you could be persuaded.
Absolutely, and the same with satellites. Yep.
Yes. It's funny thinking of the old vehicles we used to drive back in them days. I remember coming down here on a motorbike, a Zodiac, a Cortina, and I've even got a photograph, or a couple of photographs, of my old Morris Minor just out here somewhere. Amazing the difference in the technology of, yes, a mere 42 years ago.
I had an old Mini as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite easy to drive up and down these narrow lanes. You know?
Made for them. Made for it.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess that's kind of it then, John.
That's it. We've revisited Star Hill. It was great. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. The only thing I'm not going to love is that long walk home.
Absolutely. Another mile back to the road. Let's go. Blow this, Ron. Why didn't I use my mobile and phone for a taxi?
Don't be ridiculous. It's 1970. They haven't been invented yet.
Of course.